Hi, my name is Nell Harris, and I'm an artist who has just recently become a published author and illustrator. My first book, My Brain is a Race Car, is a book that I wrote about understanding and accommodating for a neurodivergent brain. When I published it, I got such amazing feedback that it inspired me to write my second book, My Body Has a Bubble, which is a book about understanding, protecting, and respecting personal space. All right, now let's get into it. How do I write a story? I begin with something called a brain dump. Now, I know that term isn't unique, and it's exactly that. You need to dump everything out of your brain that is in relation to this project. Every little idea that you have inside your head about this project, write it down. It could be in mind map form, it could be pictures, it could be dot points, it could be complete sentences. Just write them all down. It's all important. And all these ideas that are happening and swirling during your inspired and motivated time are going to be the supports and the structures and the roadmap for when that motivation wanes or you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed. Once that brain dump is down and it's all on a piece of paper or on a document on your computer, you should be able to look at all those dot points and all those notes and tell yourself in one sentence what your book is about. So for example, when I spoke before about My Brain is a Race Car, in one sentence, it is about understanding and accommodating for a neurodivergent brain. It's that simple. It shouldn't be more. And once again, that is your reference point whenever you're feeling like you've lost your way or you're not sure. What is the story that you're trying to tell? What is it that you want to share with the world? So now we've got all our ideas out and we've got a one-word sentence about what this story is about. We need to decide, who are we writing for? Who is our ideal reader? Think about their age. Think about what they might be interested in. What would they be experiencing in life? For me, my ideal reader is myself and my daughters, sitting around 4 to 7 years old, who are neurodivergent or have friends who are neurodivergent, and the carers or parents who love to read a story in evening story time. I call my books conversation openers. Because what I want to do is I want this story to be read and then kind of like that adult-child conversation about what that meaning is in my book and what does it mean to them. And like I just mentioned, I write for them. I write in the same way I would talk to my ideal reader. I think about the words that I use. Using over-elaborated words are not going to land with a 4-year-old. They're going to ask, what does that word mean? Or they're just going to disengage from the story because it's not capturing their attention. The same with the story length. A toddler is not going to sit through a 70-page story, nor is a young child going to enjoy a storybook that's got 10 sentences on one page with one tiny little picture. They're going to want 1 to 2 sentences and this story-enhancing artwork accompanying it to invoke that imagination. The same consideration needs to be applied to older readers. If it's a lot of pictures with only a little bit of words, they're going to smash through this book so fast and not be able to connect with it properly. So making sure that the picture and word ratio is right for the age that you're going for. And finally, for children's books, I ask myself, do I want it rhyming? For me, as a parent, when I am sitting and I'm reading a book to my girls, I love books that rhyme. It gets me in this groove, it gets me in this flow. It seems to, that alliteration of noises seems to really capture my daughter's attention more. And so I try and make my books rhyme. It can be tricky, and I do use this website called Rhyme Zone where I can put a word in, see what words rhyme with it, might need to change the word around or the sentence around and get it. So sometimes it can take a little bit longer, but I find the impact is worth it. Now, laying out your manuscript, I think, is a really great thing to do. Some people do call it storyboards. This all seems to happen in my head while I'm writing the book. So I'll write 1 to 2 lines for a page and then I will double return and get away. So I know that that is 1 page. And then what I'll do is I'll group pages together that I feel need to match each other or the artwork is going to be related to each other. Physically laying this out as a storyboard, I think, would be a very powerful thing to do. I work in too much of a fever rush flurry for me to have time to do that. but I have seen other people do it and it looks so impactful, and it really, once again, gives you that map, that roadmap to help you along when you might be feeling like you're losing your way. All right, so now there is a draft manuscript that exists in this world. First thing we need to do, edit and proofread. Proofreading is key, and I think some fresh eyes are best, because when we are reading our story, we're going to make up for the parts that might be missing a word or a wrongly spelled letter, because we know how the story is supposed to flow. And when fresh eyes read it, they read it in a complete new organic focus. So multiple people I recommend as well. So get those trusted around you. Anyone who's good at English would be great. I don't have a really great handle on the English language with punctuation and spelling and grammar. So people like your teacher, your parents, your friends, other students, let them have a read through and let them bring back with some feedback. And remember, feedback is different to criticism. Take it on and help it enhance your story. But if you genuinely feel it doesn't enhance your story, that's okay too. When you get to this point, I would love for you to take a moment to stop and congratulate yourself. This is a huge achievement. You have a manuscript that's been proofread and edited and refined, and here you are with this story that's ready for the world. What next? The first thing I want you to think about is your book size and your layout. I like a square book for a children's book because when I hold them up, a rectangular book is top heavy and can kind of get a little bit wobbly on me, where a square book sits quite nice in my arm while I'm trying to show the pictures and read simultaneously to my daughters. I also need to decide if there is a specific place that I want the lettering to sit, and if I need to create that layout before the artwork gets added to the file. For me, I do like to have my words kind of moving around from top to bottom. Some people might like them all on the bottom. And the artwork is going to be affected by, firstly, where the words are, secondly, the size of the words, and thirdly, the shape and the size of the page. This needs to be decided with help of an adult or a teacher that's going to be helping you with this project. If you are uploading yourself, I'm going to have a little information pack at the end on the easiest way to go about it. Ultimately, the file will need to end up as a PDF. So it could begin in a Word document. I recommend Canva because then you can import the drawings or photographs of the drawings or photographs, or use the imagery that does exist on Canva, and free accounts exist too, and you'll be able to do all of this through Canva and export as that PDF file. And the words and the images can be moved around nice and easy, nice and simple. And when you are putting these words on the page, you need to think about the font. You need to have a look at fonts that are free for public use or for anyone to use. And there are others that you must pay to use. There are some that you can pay to use, but you can't use it for commercial setting. Or you can write your own font. There is websites where you can print off a sheet of paper, write your letters on there, scan it, upload, and then you can actually get a font in your own handwriting. And that's what I did for my book. So my books are actually written in my handwriting. You also need to think about with your font readability. You don't want font that is hard to read. It needs to be clear to read. Also, is the font matching the mood of the story? You don't want a story that's about something really serious or like a scary story, but it's written in this really curly handwriting that's got love hearts and flowers dotting the eyes. It'll just take away from that impact. It's creating that full cohesive story experience. Right, now the art for your book, whether it's going to be a picture book or it's going to be a novel, it still needs a front and back cover at the very least. For this project, you might be working on your own or you might be working in teams, and now what you need to do is come up with the art that is going to amplify and enhance your story, whether you're just doing the front and back cover or whether you're doing a complete picture book like I do. Now, what kind of art? Well, that's completely up to you. Not everyone loves to draw or paint, so get creative. You could take photos, you could do sketches, you could use some of the imagery that exists and overlay them and build like a collage and add it in that way. If it's not done digitally, photographs or scanning can happen, and then it can be uploaded and added into your file that way. Like I said with Canva, then you can import that image, you can move it around, you can change it around a little bit, you could overlay other things on and create this final finished product that really matches in with the words and the story. Keeping in mind that if you are going for a bound printed book, that the front and back cover file is going to be different from the interior files, and that's something that you need to find out from where you're going to print, and that will be in my to print section that's going to happen in just a moment. So now you have written your manuscript, you have laid out your pages, you have amazing art, and you've combined the art and words into a file. What next? It's time to print! Yay! So, how can we print your story? Well, firstly, we could export it as a PDF, and then straight away it exists there as a digital book. Now you could print that PDF and then staple the edges, or if you do your storyboarding correctly and really think about it, you could get multiple pages sitting on an A4 page, run it horizontally, run the staple through the middle, and then folding it over, you've got this quite advanced little book that you've made for yourself. The next level that you could go is printing the PDF and having it binder bound at a stationery shop or at the school or at a library. Sometimes they can do it. And the final quick and easy approach that I have for printing this book is that you go through Amazon. Amazon has a printing website which is called Kindle Direct Publishing. If you type that into Google, you'll find it nice and easy. From there, you can upload the PDF manuscript with the artwork included, as well as the front and back cover photo. They will give you dimensions, or they'll give you an option to edit a front and back cover. The approval process is pretty quick, and it is also free as well. And then once it launches or goes live, you can order author copies at a discounted amount, which you might want to sell through your school, you might want to sell through your family and friends. Or it might be something that you just want to buy the author copies at a discounted price and gift them to the people that you love and care about. You also have an option to upload it and share it with the world as an ebook too. It does take a little bit of a file conversion. You just need to turn a PDF into an EPUB, which is really, really easy. There's plenty of websites that do it for you, but also the page dimensions change, so you will need to redo it in a different dimension set. Finally, the last thing that I really want to say before you go get started on your project is believe in yourself. Don't fall into a thought trap that you aren't an author. There is no age that is too young to be an author, and there is no age that is too old to be an author. Authors are storytellers, and stories come from lived experiences, and every day we are living new experiences. So get out there, write a story, and I cannot wait to see it out in the world. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you would like to download any of my resources or book a workshop or a presentation with me, just head over to my website www.nellharris.com and reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you.